I was raised in a pastor's home. I'm married to a pastor, and I am a pastor. I've experienced hurt through criticism, rejection, and the way people have treated my children. We will be discussing these subjects and so much more right here on Silently Bleeding, Finding Hope for the Pastor's Wife. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have Heather Levesque from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania back with us. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Jan. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Again, it's my great pleasure. And today, Heather, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about my kids, every mom's favorite thing to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And our journey through adoption and infertility. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Awesome. So how many kids do you have?
Well, that's a tricky question. I actually have 3 legally, but I always say I have 4 because we adopted our first 3 kids through foster care. And when the 4th one, our bonus one, was born, we fostered him for 16 months until he was able to return to his mom, and which is also the biological mom of my 2 oldest kids. So because of that, he returned at 16 months old, and she has allowed us to be a huge part of his life. He spends the summers and weekends at our house, and we're like his other mom and dad. We're his godparents, as she says. So it's been an incredible blessing.
So you have 3, 4
All right.
kids. Awesome. Well, how has adopting these kids changed your life?
Well, they made me a mom. First of all, I dealt with infertility. When I was 16 years old, I was diagnosed with the syndrome that I knew that we would have to go through fertility treatments if we wanted to have biological children. So we went through about 4 rounds, and finally they said, this is just not going to work for your body. And so we started the road to domestic infant adoption and really felt like God put the brakes on that for us. And so we started fostering, and that's how we ended up adopting 3 of our kids. We fostered a few other too that went back home to their families. But so that is one way it's changed my life. It's just made me a mom. Another way is it's just changed my whole perspective on everything. I used to think, you adopt because then they'll become your kids, and it's, you have them, and it's you. And God has opened my eyes so much to laying myself down, to sharing that title of mom, to sharing even like special days, being next to my kid's mom on Mother's Day while in church while my husband's preaching. And it's just really changed my life in that way. And one more way is just, it's changed my view about parenting, because parenting kids from trauma is just a whole different ballgame. And so I had to let go of a lot of control about the way I thought things would be, control about how my kids should act and should be, and just about me having things my way. And God's just done a lot.
Oh, that is so awesome. So Heather, adopting these kids, how has that affected y'all's ministry?
Well, in one ways, we've just had the opportunity to minister to their families, to help their families stay together so that we weren't having to, adopt out each kid, but just saying, how can we support you to be able to keep the kids that you still have? How can we make that easier? Because people need support, and not just for us to come in and take the kids, but for us to also say, how can we help you to better parent?
Wow.
Another thing is that it's given me opportunities to speak to other moms. I have talked to so many individuals who have said, because of you and your story, we've opened up our adoption to our kids' birth families.
Wow.
I've gone to, they've said, I've realized, like, even though it's uncomfortable for me, we did this next step, or we contacted our kids' birth mom, and just, it's been a really incredible opportunity for me. I have two other girls that we're very like-minded in this, and we have been able to speak on panels of up to over 100 people at one of them. So it's been exciting.
Not only has it been a neat thing for your church, and how incredible, the birth mom sits beside you on Mother's Day with the children in your own church. I've never heard of that. That's amazing. I'm sure it's been done, but I think that's a rare thing.
Well, one thing is, it's not amazing for what we've done, but it's just God has been very gracious, to us, to even have us learn that this is a thing that can be done, and that my kids don't have to ever choose. They don't have to choose loyalties. They don't have to think, if I love you, I can't love them. We love all of us. I'm good. You have several grandparents. You can have a couple moms. Love us all. So.
Oh, I love your heart, Heather. Could you just take a second and show us a picture of your family?
I would love to. This was a couple years ago, but it'll give you an idea. They've all grown a foot by then. Whoops. So the oldest, Daquan and Maria and Faith, and here's our little bonus DJ.
Aw, and Daquan, is he the first, your oldest, you said?
He is. He's
Aw,
almost 14.
what a beautiful family.
As tall as me. So yeah.
So do you recommend, Heather, that other people that are considering adoption, that they prayerfully consider adopting the whole family per se? Am I saying that right?
This is what I would recommend. If you're looking into adoption, I would say to find ways to learn from adult adoptees. That has been the most beneficial thing that we have done, is just listen and listen and listen to adult adoptees and what they feel would have benefited them.
Mhm.
There are Facebook groups for like building bridges with first families, and sometimes it's hard to hear what people have to say,
Mhm.
but it's been incredibly beneficial to just hear out what these grown adults that were once our kids have to say about all of it.
Having biracial kids, has that helped in reaching other cultures in your community, or has it been, a frustration? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I do. I wouldn't say it's helped, but I will say that having a multiracial church has helped my family.
Ah,
So, yes, I am so grateful to be in a church that's diverse, because my kids can look down the aisle and see strong Black men and women of God that they can aspire to be like too. So yes, it has definitely benefited our family. And now I think about it, and I think, if I only had kids who looked like me, and if I only had kids who are white, I would want that for them too. I would want them to see a church that looks like what heaven's going to look like, or what the kingdom of God is really like.
right, right. Well, we've always had multicultural ministry hearts, and wherever we've pastored, even when we were youth pastors, we had different cultures involved in our youth ministry. So we share that same heart, Heather.
Yes.
Anything else you would like to say to encourage moms that maybe, or pastors' wives, that they've not been blessed with children of their own? Is there a word of encouragement you might have for them?
I would say God sees you. You're not alone. And even though you feel alone, there are a lot of us out there. And if you can, once again, like in my last video, I'm very social, so just reach out, And if you are struggling with infertility or anything, you can email me if that's okay with you. I am more than willing to just to pray with you, to listen, and to kind of be an anonymous ear that can hear those things that you don't really want to share with a lot of people.
Well, people want to talk to somebody that has already been through it. You know, for someone to reach out to me and say, "Oh, help me understand because I've never been blessed with kids." That's not something that I can honestly relate to. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing your story and your beautiful family. And may God continue to bless your family, your church, your ministry to hurting women that have not been blessed with children. Wow. And for those who have adopted, God is using you in so many ways. And I'm just so proud of you, Heather.
Oh, thank you. I am amazed at how God uses little old me. I'm really I'm blessed. I'm blessed to just be able to be a voice for some of these kids too.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I will make sure that we have Heather's email address down below. So if you have any questions or comments for her, or you just need somebody that understands where you're at to pray with you, Heather will be glad to email you back. My email address will be right here. You're always welcome to email me for prayer, questions, or comments as well. Thank you, my friend. We love you, and God bless you.
Thank you for watching Silently Bleeding, Finding Hope for the Pastor's Wife. I look forward to connecting with you. Feel free to leave me comments down below and make sure and subscribe. If you want to know every time a new video is coming out, hit the bell. I would be so delighted if you would also hit the like button, and feel free to share this video with anyone you know that this would encourage. Blessings, my friend.